Okay, this time scenario will be The Stand. The Stand, June 18th, 1944. In June of 1944, the Japanese launched Operation Ichi-Go. The goal was to knock China out of the war and to capture the airfields that B-29 bombers were operating out of. The Chinese army, which had been in static defense for nearly 4 years, began to crumble. The US 14th Air Force was caught in the offensive while evacuating air bases and trying to deliver air support to the Chinese army. At one such airfield just south of the city of Changsha, the situation was so bad that everyone who could hold a rifle was thrown in to slow down the Japanese. Despite a valiant effort, the combination of Japanese tanks and infantry led to the capture of the base. I'm actually inclined to play with the Chinese. It's a pain to play against Japanese infantry, but they have tanks. So it might be easy to see what kind of a resistance we can put up. I'm expecting our troops to be mainly green or regular, with basically no tanks at all. So it should be hard at least. We seem to have some tanks. Okay, not too much happened this time. Ooh, we have planes too. We have good ones. P-47D. They'll have 5-inch rockets. They're not great though, because one of the 5-inch rockets weapon has no ammunition. So there's sort of a neutered version of one. Overall situation on the map is we have a line of infantry here and a column or basically a platoon of tanks coming from the rear, so HQ has already been lost, and that this is the first turn. That's wonderful. They picked a good target to attack. Okay, we need to get these tanks into position. I need to see what the position is. They're attacking with pretty crappy tanks and infantry. Infantry is just fine, but the tanks aren't. Our troops are regular, so that's a relief at least. But we're in a positioned in a way that there's no way we can prevent the enemy from coming through. We don't even have engineers, cooks, aircrew, regular infantry with fairly useless weaponry. They're okay troops, but they're basically an okay troop that has had some of their weapons being removed, mainly by removing all ammunition to them. Yeah, I did do that. Let's take a look at the bar and hand grenade ammunition is 0. So they have a semi-automatic rifle. .30 cal anti-air machine gun, totally useless, didn't hit even once. Climbing. You can't move. And you. Careful. I'm not sure if we should stay or move. The problem with staying is that I'm guessing they have infantry on them. So if we stay, we're still not able to do any assaulting on them. We can't move anymore. What weaponry do we have? Nothing impressive. This is well, this wasn't a good idea. Going to have to try to attack the infantry. I think we'll do with smoke. Because the tank is there too, I don't see it working. We just try to shoot them. And yeah, losing the command unit at this stage that our only hope really is to get these tanks in position and wait for the enemy to come and hope we get the hits and they don't. And that's pretty much it. Both our tanks are capable of destroying each other. I'd say we have the better tanks though, but the main gun on our tanks is smaller. It should still be sufficient to score kills, so that's not a huge issue. The Japanese tanks are following the same sort of a tactic that the infantry does. They're basically rushing to their targets and loading everything they have on them without any worries. Abandon. These have large guns, or fairly effective guns, but they're very inaccurate. I'm not keen on trying to use the infantry to engage the tanks. We might get a kill or two that way, but I think what's more likely to happen is that we're basically just going to lose the infantry. And that's about it. What's the liners? Chances of hit aren't exactly great. Go here. I like this a little bit more. We'll position ourselves here. Exactly a great place to be though. We'll go in a line. see one tank. And we're not gonna fire yet. Maybe we should. No, it's too far away. That reminds me, we will be setting a range for these guys. Be good enough. No point wildly firing on the other side of the map, it's not gonna do any good for us. What? First Lieutenant Fat. That's an amazing name. We can't do. I'm inclined to attack though. I didn't mean to go there. Jesus Christ. Of course I wouldn't have attacked if I knew that stupid idiot is going to run on the road. Then turn and turn. I don't want to deal with those. I guess I should know better. Just move one hex at a time if you want to be sure your guy moves in any kind of intelligent way. Yeah. Yeah, they have mortars, that's what's lighting up the forest. I'll be pulling back all our infantry at this point. There's no point keeping them because they're not reacting to anything and a single shot in their direction and they're routed. So all the infantry here will be basically be totally annihilated without them putting up any kind of resistance. It's probably too late to pull them out anyway now. Yeah, I should have just run basically right from the start. The end result of this fight at this point will be determined entirely how well our tank is. Because if they can defeat all the Japanese tanks, we might have a chance. If they don't, this is basically lost. You have the few planes still left and I totally forgot about them. Yeah. Even if they didn't take any kills or losses here, we can't do anything. What are we gonna do then? Go there. Going to send to go there and use. Yep. Chances of us succeeding to do anything worthwhile, basically 0. Well, now it's totally impossible. I'm not going to attack those guys yet. We'll see what the tanks can do. We need to get tank kills. Things aren't exactly going well for us. What did we achieve? Nothing of value. We need an actual kill. We achieved nothing. Yeah, this might go really, really badly. It wouldn't be that bad if we could have just positioned our own forces. How these guys are positioned is basically absolutely static. It's like there's no consideration taken to the actual enemy you're fighting against. Well, what they did here would have been just fine against an enemy that you can sort of shoot a little bit and they might get pinned and routed or retreat, but it's the worst possible thing you can do against the Japanese as far as they're portrayed in this game, because you need to destroy their units. There's no point in you causing little wounds or casualties. You need to wipe out the entire unit, or otherwise you haven't really achieved all that much. So you need to have enough troops in a single place to at least counter a single full squad of enemies. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. Thank goodness. That's a huge relief. Targets. I think we'll start shooting there. You see it too? Yes, you can. Shoot something. Need to get rid of that flanking tank. No one will be able to do anything. Don't want to go too close to those tanks. There might be soon our airplanes will start going there. No targets. Not much we can do. They're quite a bit better at hitting than we are. And There's enough infantry to suppress our tanks, so that's bad too. Okay, now we should get our first airplanes. I'd like to have 2 shots. You target the closer one. Yeah, this isn't going well. We aren't hitting anything and we're getting hit constantly, so... Oh, immobilized. Wonderful. Not that it's gonna help us much. It still has the anti-tank. I think we'll have to pull back a little bit. I want to buildings here. I want to remove the threat about this stuff. The threat of these guys being able to shoot in our rear and flanks. So there will be enemy fire, but it will come from the front. And we have full squads basically that are routed constantly. That's our infantry. No one's firing on them, but they're totally incapable of doing anything. Pray for us. I didn't think Chinese would be this worthless in the game. Ah, well, these are green. Yeah. At least we have the US that is regular. The actual soldiers we have here are green. That explains quite a bit though. Enemies, and we can't shoot at anyone. And our fearless leader have been running away from the entire maps. At least they're retreating and not being routed again. Still, that's pretty bad. Infantry has been very disappointing on these. If it isn't US Army or Japanese on the Pacific front, it's basically been totally worthless. And the airplane came here, target tanks, and it shoot at our own infantry. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, we can't defend against Japanese like that. Again, those crews that are regular, the American crews, only have a single rifle, so they can't react well enough to the Japanese fully armed squad to stop them from attacking. Yeah, this mission has basically gone from bad to worse. So, again, I probably said this from a few missions, but this will be the likely first one to actually where we get our loss. Should have done a different thing with the infantry. The airplane should have actually shot at an enemy tank. Things like that. So everything has basically gone bad. The only thing that has gone fairly well so far is that we haven't actually lost any of our tanks. That isn't much. We're reaching the halfway point of this mission. And so far things are looking bad, to be honest. Very bad. That's like what, the third hit? And it's not going down. We're gonna run out of ammunition long before they run out of tanks. And they have a couple of platoons of tanks too. Yeah. We aren't hitting. I could pull back constantly a little bit, but I don't really see the point at this point. Our infantry is totally incapable of stopping their infantry, and most of our infantry is out of the fight anyway. Either they're running away, or they're decent infantry, or like this. This isn't a burned building, and I can't do anything. I can't move it. Because it's in a burned building, it's going to get suppressed constantly. I can't do anything about it because I can't move it out of the burned building to get it to sort of calm down and get back into control. But it doesn't necessarily move on its own, so it might be staying in that burning building for God knows how long. And as long as it does, it's totally useless to us. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a very lucky loss. I simply can't do anything. I don't have any troops. Functioning troops. And that's the story. I just can't do anything anymore. I can click next turn and that's about it. I have the squads, but none of them can do anything. We have those 5 tanks and they are basically all we can do at the moment. Hopefully the other airplane doesn't kill our own guys. Can't actually rely on that, but ooh, it shoot at a target. Holy shit. And it didn't shoot at the target. Which is odd, because it shot at the target initially. Yeah, now we're getting killed. They're a lot more accurate than we are. With them, it's constant hit. With us, we have scored 0 hits. And the infantry is putting so much pressure on us that we're probably going to start abandoning those tanks. So yeah. This is bad. This is really bad. Yep. Incapable of doing anything, incapable of doing anything. Able to do maybe 1 shot. It actually was a good shot. Has no machine gun anymore. Okay, changing direction, and we've lost our ammunition. Or shot. Yeah, we're. This didn't go well. I've been shooting this one tank for God knows how long. Oh, thank God it died. We need to do something else with these tanks. There's a single tank there, but that's not our main concern. This coming cluster fudge there is. Yeah, I'll move the spear here. And why can't I hit? I can't see. Well, at least you run away from the burning building. Actually a good thing to do. We should sort of why? Decide what to do with the infantry here. There's no point standing here in the bushes. I don't really intend to attack that. I think we'll pull back to try to capture these or something like that. Maybe even attack the tanks or infantry from the rear. As long as it's something. And that's it. Nothing more we can do. A lot of smoke on the battlefield now. I think we have to start shooting at the infantry. We'll have to reposition our tanks so the smoke covers us from the enemy tanks, and then start shooting at the infantry, because their suppression effect is too large. Yeah. Can't do shit. And their infantry assaults with perfect accuracy. We're retreating, that's why we can't shoot like that. And you can't shoot at all. Wonderful. And you can't shoot at all. Oh, this is fun. Another example of I can't do it. Yeah, they're green. God damn it, I should have checked these earlier. This is another example of where numerically and quality speaking, as far as tanks are concerned, at least we're not in a bad position, but because of the quality of the actual troops training, we're totally incapable of fighting them. It's absolutely hopeless. And that's what's really the problem with the positioning of the units. They're positioned in a way, sort of, not just that they're bad against Japanese type of fighting, but they're positioned in a way that you're basically in an equal footing on the enemy infantry, and you're certainly not. You have much more worse units, so you should have, any competent leader should have seen that you can't try to do that. It's doomed to failure. You need to understand that on a one-on-one basis, you're gonna lose every engagement. So what you need to do is to try to leverage, have every engagement you fight in a situation where you have the upper hand, clear upper hand. Yes, this isn't gonna work. We're gonna pull all our troops here then, because we might be able to delay things a bit. But here, yeah, there's simply too strong of a wave. We don't have anything to even slow it down. So this is probably our first defeat. And our HQ unit exited the map. Ah. Well, it started badly and it never really... The nose just continued. That's pretty much it. But it really highlights the unity quality problem. Doesn't matter how competent you are in a game, if the pieces you control don't follow your orders, it won't make any kind of a difference. You're gonna lose. Okay, can we do anything? We're fighting a delaying action. Constantly withdrawing because the infantry is getting closer and closer. You can do something like a single shot. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, they lost their main gun. We do have better tanks, I think. They're not hugely better, but the gun is small but accurate, and we have a lot of machine guns. So I'd say our tanks are better, but they're still not. They're green tanks. Everything's green, green, green. And that's no good. Green is no good. We might as well try to shoot because rare for our troops to be in a condition to be able to fire on an enemy routed. I'm trying to capture some of the flags back to delay this at least a little bit. But overall, yeah, we're not in a position to provide any kind of resistance anymore. So basically at this point depends what the AI does. Because if it continues putting the pressure on us or as much as it can, we're gonna lose this. If it does something really odd, we might have a chance to at least get it to a marginal defeat or victory. Otherwise it'll be a decisive defeat. We've lost a ton of units and we've lost all our victory flags. We might lose a lot of those tanks too. I'd actually prefer a decisive loss. None of these are basically almost, well, not in damage, but in very good condition. Haven't really shot much. Totally incapable of doing anything. What are you shooting at? We need to shoot it. Yes, yes, and more yes. Can you shoot at anything? Okay. Ooh. I still have a lot of tanks there, so I'm inclined not to move. Right side, they have no tanks here, so our soldiers might be able to protect some of our flags, at least for a while. Inclined not to move. I'll shoot some of their soldiers. Try to cause a bit of casualties among them. And that's it. Now you can move. Definitely should move. I can't. Okay. There's 5 turns left. But this was a good turn for us. We wiped out a lot of their tank power. They still have pretty much as much as we have. What do you see? Do you see? no interesting targets. We have to move these tanks to some direction. Either attack here or start to engage the. And you're retreating. Of course you are. We'll try to kill as many of these coming infantry as we can. That went fairly well actually, and so this isn't an actual an attempt to retake this. This is an attempt to keep this game going for the full amount of time. Yeah, the smoke. I will try to engage these tanks here, but not now, and I do lead multiple tanks to do it. I want to go into the smoke. Okay, what can you see? They're too far away, really. Want to be in a firing position. So much smoke. This is a little bit better, but not much. Gosh. Let's see if we can at least pull this to a marginal defeat. Or marginal something. As long as we have some flags, the game will probably keep going until the fool will turn them on. There's no way we can counter those enemy groups. If there were no tanks there, then yeah, sure. But if we go after the infantry, the tanks can shoot at our rear and flanks. That's not really an option too, and they have more tanks incoming. And we got a damaged tank. Yeah, they're going for the flag with everything they got. We can do some delaying action, but I think we've lost it. We might keep some flags. Some flags might be able to be kept too, but overall we have no chance anymore. The time simply isn't there. Actually, I'll save our shots this time. Oh, the little bit of a cat and mouse action. No point running. Control 3 flags. And you... I don't want to go there now. There's at least a couple of tanks there. They will be coming up here after that anyway, so... Yeah, they'll win this definitely. The question is basically the point. We're fighting for points now, so we want to cause as many casualties as possible, try to keep as many flags as possible. I don't want to go for the flags yet. We are never going to be able to defend all of them. We got assaulted by enemy infantry, yeah. Yeah, there's too much smoke, we can't see anything, we're losing tanks every turn. Might as well try to assault that tank. It's not gonna work, but there's no point sitting here doing nothing. Okay, we got our chance. It's not gonna be much, but this is something. These guys are simply too bad. Even any kind of trouble and they're unable to fight anymore. So watch this. I'm gonna just run around here taking some of these flags to keep this thing going. Okay. Wipe out the enemy squad. Yeah, and there was much rejoicing. Okay, this is the word pathetic comes to mind. We're playing the game mechanic system basically to our advantage. Otherwise, if we would have fought the enemy, we would have lost this already. That's how it is. Can any of you actually shoot at something? Apparently you can, but you're too bad actually. We're immobilized. Wonderful. We're clearly in control there. What? 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 I tried to move there, but apparently infantry morale failed and our tanks appeared there. Yeah. Okay, we can't see that. Why are they can cause a ton of casualties on them. Can't take that building though. Do we have anything we can move? No. So let's just play to the final turn and see the result. So what we've learned from this, or these scenarios I've played, is that Chinese during the World War II were basically totally useless. The only good thing there about them are the troops that the Americans, or the equipment the Americans provided for them. And even then, the crew they had for putting them wasn't really all that effective. Yeah, this is sort of silly. Both sides are, yeah, we're not in any position to even take back, and we abandoned our tank. Oh, that's terrible. We're desperately trying to hold on to even a single one of those flags, but ooh, good. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, come on, let's get to the end results. Okay, it's still going on. Oh, we're going to naturally attack. Point holding back at this point. Mission over. And we're annihilating enemy squads. Of course we are, because we are clearly superior team here. And we get annihilated immediately afterwards. Yeah. Well, I sort of suspected something like that might happen, but again, the fight should have been over already. At least we got to wipe out a few more enemy squads. By a few, I mean one. And now it's over. Automatic suppression going on. A lot of suppression going, but it's totally pointless because the units are too small to operate anymore. It should end now. Maybe we have one or two flags left, but we are in no position to gain anymore. Still going on. Yeah, you can't. No, you're retreating, so you won't do anything. You can shoot with machine guns. Not totally worthless. We don't want to do that. Ooh, we have a chance to attack an enemy tank. And we fail. Nothing's gonna happen here. We have maybe 2 or 3 units we can move every turn, so this is basically just waiting for the end. Get the final score. Well, we're still holding on to a single flag. And the game isn't ending. Careful. Retreating. Retreating means you can still shoot. Nothing's happening here. I'm genuinely surprised that this one is still in some kind of operational condition. Actually, this gun. And that was totally pointless. I think we'll lose the flag. They'll destroy the tank and then move a unit there. So we delayed them a little bit, but it didn't change anything overall. Yeah, they're gonna abandon that tank even if it survives. But that sword really kept this going for a few rounds longer, so it's the only. Ooh. Yeah, it's abandoned. We have another tank now that's capable of movement. This is funny. It's some kind of a disgusting game of whack-a-mole. Every time they take everything back, we can just go around and take a flag or two back for us. Absolutely ridiculous. Please end. It won't make any kind of a difference. It's a defeat. Very likely a decisive defeat too. Yeah, they retook everything. A real rout. Yeah, we are in a move or do anything. We should have stayed on the flags. That's the only mistake we made. And it would make a huge difference, but it's still a difference. We could have probably hold on to a single flag. Now it's no longer possible. Well, at least we sort of extended it from what 15 turns to 20. Not a huge achievement, but it's something. I'd say this is a decisive loss. Because they managed to get all the victory flags. If we could have held on to a few, it might have been a marginal loss. Yeah. 103 and Japanese 1165. It's a decisive victory for the Japanese. Decisive defeat and heavy losses. Enemy laugh at your feeble attempts to take their positions. Your forces must flee from the battlefield. Better luck next time. Yeah. Chinese didn't manage to put up much of a fight. The basic problem was that our infantry line was a poor idea to begin with, and it collapsed basically without a fight. So if I'd had to replay this again, I'd probably pull back the infantry line immediately and try to connect with the tanks. I'm not sure how much of a difference it would have made. Maybe sort of pull back and put up a small smoke screen to prevent the enemy from shooting at our backs when we retreat. When you sort of ball up the infantry with the tanks again, then you could have put up some kind of a fight. You would have enough units, even though if they can get a few of them to panic and retreat, you have enough units to do your own counter-offensive and wipe out enemy squad. But trying to do this mission like the mission wants you to do it, it's going to be very tough to pull a victory out of that. Not with green units. But yeah, our first decisive defeat.